If you like this video, why not subscribe?
Hey, good morning everyone from around the world, whomever is watching this show, and asking yourself, why is this guy in his car? Well, it's the Recap Q&A. That's a show where I do sit in my car because it's a really good sound booth, making audio sound pretty good for on-camera mics on my Sanyo Exacti VBC CG10 little camera. And it's where I share the links from last week that accumulated on Facebook and Twitter. You can find those down below. If you're not interested in what I'm saying, which I can completely understand, you can go right to those links, which might be very informative. In the meantime, I'm going to answer questions that I received through my email at thefrugalfilmmaker@gmail.com and also through YouTube and other email sources, Facebook, those kind of things. So, jumping right into that, last week, what was our question last week? I can't even remember. We'll just go right on to this episode. If you want to know about last week, look at the last episode, and you'll find out which I can't even remember. It must be early in the morning. Our first question comes from Frank Meyer. He says, in your camera clip video, the clip lamp camera mount, that was it. You alluded to a sync sound using your cell phone for audio purposes. What app or MP3 file do you use? Great question, Frank. If I can talk, maybe I can answer some. I use this app, which is called FreeSlate, and essentially all it is a free app. This is on the iPhone. I'm pretty sure there's something like this on Android as well. And all it is like, as you can see, it's a little slate. It has all the proper designated slots. You have scene, take, and roll. I'm not sure why roll is on an iPhone app since you don't use film rolls anymore. Director of photography, the date, and day or night, interior, exterior, sound or MOS. And it also has a mark sound up here in the corner. So when you do this, it sounds like clapper sticks. So that's what I use for that video where I was trying to sync 3 cameras. I use that sound. Notice it also flashes. So if you're seeing it, you will know you have a visual as well as a sync sound. So that's a really good app. I highly recommend it. Again, mostly because it works and it's free. It's called FreeSlate, and you can find that in the App Store. All right, thanks for the question, Frank. Next up, we have Nat Griggs, who asks, I was going to order the H1, the Zoom H1, from the link on your website so you can get a little money. Thanks, appreciate it. But I'm trying to figure out how I would attach this to my new stabilizer rig and make sure it had a shock mount. Well, the best shock mount I've seen for the Zoom H1, because it's got to be kind of narrow so you have access to all the buttons on the recorder, is DSLR Film Noob's Noob shock mount, which I'm going to leave a link below. They're about $10, between $10 I think and $12 depending on which model you get. I've got the simplest one, which is just kind of a plastic square with rubber bands running both ways, so the recorder is insulated. You can also get one that has extra cold shoe mounts around the circle, around the square. But on the bottom, it's got a flash bracket mount, or a cold or hot shoe mount that you can just slide it into if you have a camera with a flash bracket on it, or a shoe mount, excuse me. There's also a screw in the bottom, or threads, 1/4 inch 20 threads in the bottom, so you can mount it that way. So if you're going to put it on the PVC stabilizer rig, you can either attach a cold shoe mount onto a PVC plug, which you can then put in any open port you have on your rig. I'll leave a link to that below. That's actually what I used when I did the review of the LED video light. I'll leave a link to that also, so you can see how I did it. It's a real simple. It's on eBay. You can get them for $1. It's a little cold shoe mount with a 1/4 20 thread on the bottom. So you can either drill a hole through a PVC plug and attach it to that plug, and then put the plug in your rig. Or if you don't want to go that route, you could actually attach the Noob shock mount the same way onto the PVC plug. Just put a 1/4 20 thread or screw through the bottom of the plug into the hole, through the hole you've drilled and into the mount, and then attach the whole mount right to your rig. That's more permanent. I kind of like the cold shoe adapter idea, because then you can slide multiple things in and out of that cold shoe and not have to remove the whole plug, like a video light, for example. So that's what I would do. And like I said, the plugs are $1. The cold shoe adapters are $1. Links below. Oliver Kranis asks, I'm new to filmmaking, but how do you block the loud sound of the wind when moving fast? We've probably all heard this, anytime you're outside, the wind's blowing, or you're shooting out of a car window or whatever, you're going to hear that really horrible wind noise that you don't want. Now, some of that is going to be, you're not going to be able to remove it. If you're shooting anything outside of a car window and the wind was blowing into the microphone, I don't care what you have on your camera, you're probably not going to insulate yourself from that unless you have some kind of shield. Most times you just have a windscreen. The best ones are referred to as the dead cat, which is kind of like the furry windscreen. I'm guessing all over here you probably don't have a separate microphone that you're recording sound on. Maybe it's on camera mics. A helpful way to insulate wind noise is to actually get some faux fur, fake fur from a fabric store. Maybe you know someone that has some of this fake fur that they've made costumes out of, or puppets or whatever. And you can actually attach the fake fur right over the microphone. And that fur is some of the best audio trapping material ever devised, which is why you'll see them like on boom mics for news reports and everything. Audio guys outside will always have this huge fuzzy thing around their microphone, and that's essentially the same idea. Knoptop had a good video about this, where he just took these little tiny squares and taped them over the on-camera mics he had on his T2i. So I'm going to link to that video below so you can check it out. But all it is really just this small tiny square of this fake fur over the microphone on the camera. So there's that. All right, Deke Blue contacted me through YouTube and says, I need an external audio source and wanted a Zoom H1 like you've recommended with a lavalier mic, but even a used H1 is beyond my budget right now. Do you have an option on using one of the dictation style voice recorders with an external mic? They're about half the cost of the H1. Well, Deke, there's a reason they're half the cost, and that's because they just don't have as many features, and the fidelity on those recorders is not as nice as obviously a dedicated audio recorder. The Zooms, you can get it for about $80, but I can understand if you don't have that. And what's a good alternative? If you can find an audio recorder that has audio levels, so you actually see where the recorded voices are hitting, because you want to hit around a certain area with 12 dB, basically negative 12 dB. And if you have a way of controlling those levels, namely manual audio controls, then I would say go ahead and try it, get it. If it doesn't work well enough, you can return it. The problem with those recorders tends to be that they don't have those features. Plus, as I said, the fidelity tends to be lower because they're made for recording a human voice. They're probably going to be recording around 96 kilohertz, where the sample rate's lower. So your audio is going to suffer. Although maybe you don't need that. If you're not going to be recording, singing or anything, it might not that. Can I talk today? Might not be that big of a deal. But at the same time, you probably have access to something, like you have access to a cell phone that records audio. You're probably going to get the same type of fidelity out of that as you would a dedicated voice recorder. Plus, you might have actually some more control. Now, of course, I'm referring to a smartphone because smartphones, you can finagle a mic input on those, depending. You might have to have an adapter cable. But you could use a lav mic with a smartphone. Now, granted, I'm not sure how many apps have level control, things like that. I don't think they do. But anyway, if you have to cut corners, you could look at that. Again, if you see a voice recorder that you think might work, buy it from Walmart or Radio Shack or someplace with a liberal return policy. And that way, if it doesn't work out for you, you can just return it. But, I looked for a long time for a cheaper alternative than a dedicated recorder like the Zoom or the Tascam DR05. Both of those have great audio quality for the price, which tends to be around $80. I like the Zoom personally because it's smaller and lighter, and if I want to use it as a body mic, I can easily hide it on someone, where the Tascam's a much beefier, more robust, and as a result more durable, but it's also not as easy to conceal. So I like the Zoom a lot, but try, I would say just try something, see something that might work and check it out. Again, if it's just recording for voices, maybe it'll work, but they don't have the same features, and it's not dedicated to all kinds of audio recording like the Zoom is, unfortunately. So hope that helps. If anyone else has, any suggestions for Deke, please go ahead and leave a comment below. Okay, finally, I just want to, now that we're talking about audio, In fact, that's our question. What do you record sound with? You know, is it? I don't care if it's high end or low end. I'd be curious to hear what people are recording sound with. We seem to be living in a double system world now because we're using these great cameras that have a great image, but often there's not a mic input. I bought a Sony NEX5N. There's no mic input, and I'm actually okay with that because ever since I switched over to the Zoom or bought the Zoom and started using it, I even ditched using the mic input on my camcorder that I was often using to record instructional videos that you'll see often on this channel, because the sound on the H1 is so much better. There's not much as bad of a noise floor. You can't hear as much hissing on the Zoom H1 as you can going into the camcorder. The only difference I found is when I'm using my shotgun, my Sennheiser ME66, because it's such a hot mic, powerful mic, that it forces me to crank the preamps down on whatever I'm using, which makes the sound better. So that's the question. What do you use to record sound with? I appreciate everyone watching this channel and all the videos and all the great compliments and comments you guys are always giving me. Really appreciate it. All the input for various shows and things that you want to see. So please keep it coming. I appreciate all the patronage and the viewership. And hopefully we'll keep going. So that's the end of this show.